Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Well, we got an interesting setup today. If you recall, on Friday, we had this big move up. Well, on Thursday we had a big move up. They tried to get up there again, and they came short, and then they fought the whole session. And after we left, they did actually eventually move down. Now in the overnight, we can see that there was quite a bit of accumulation at 12.5. So interesting. E-mini unclear, although it does kind of look like they've recovered and they want to push higher for the week. So we'll see. I want to so where we're at right now. So our focus for the week is still going to be here, catching the range. And we can see that right now at this moment, we are within the range. And the new thing I'm going to be checking this week is to be seeing on the 30-minute candles, are we going to close above the previous high or low? That's going to be how I'm going to judge this one. So yeah. Not quite sure what else to say. Well, ZB looks to be predominant in the action still. It's swinging a lot. Lots of selling through all of this. ZF has been selling through all of this. Okay, well, we're going to pull up the links. Oh, you know, we didn't need to do all of those actually. Just that one. Yes, that one. Oh, you know, we didn't need to do all. Bum bum bum. Wow, 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 wow. Interesting. And why is my spread indicator gone? No, we don't need that. We don't need that. We do need spread. Where's spread? Give us the knob here. Yes. So for the ratio has changed, hasn't it? So I better take a look at that. June 2018. The knob is still 3-1. Then the 5 to 10 is going to be 3-2. Okay. So now that we get that, we can see that the knob is trying to flatten through all this. And it's kind of in the middle on a decision point. Okay. So it seems to me that they are not making a move. Oh yes, of course, we need to talk about that. Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin opening up a good $1,000 lower over the weekend. Yeah, nice red market, very much so. And now would be a good time to go in and do our generate our charts, huh? So I can show you just how bad it is. So it's pretty bad. And yep, we got the FOMC this week. We also have the auctions. This absorption that we're seeing here could be a ray lock. If we were to tick down to 12.5, would they absorb more than 10,000 contracts? If that's the case, then I think that they're ray locked. I also think we might get a move up though. So what? No, that's 5,000 right there. Let's take a tepid one here. Let's see what they do. Okay. They tick down, nobody's hitting 12.5. ZF is ticking it down. It's weak, but nobody's hitting it. Okay, somebody hit it. So I'm just thinking back on some of the things that I've read over the weekend. One of the things that I read was somebody saying that there's a possibility that the Federal Reserve decides to slow down their roll-off. Okay, so they ticked down again, and there was only 800, so that's definitely not what we wanted to see. Okay. Now it's fighting back. A little bit of absorption there again. Well, at this point, if we want to take a long, I think that we're in a pretty poor position since it didn't, this really should have held better than it did. So I think that we need to, we're going to watch this next uptick. See if we get something to hold, and if not, we get out of this and then perhaps get in lower, but at that point I'm not even still sure if it's long anymore. I saw that, I thought it was worth a shot. It doesn't look like it's developing, so it could still go up, but I think that the trade did not work. Okay, not enough. Oh, okay, now it's firming up a little bit. I like what I see here in ZF. 1,000. If this can get over 2. Okay. Nope. Okay, so that was... Looks like ZF just wants to push down. Okay. Yeah, that was the right choice. Only 221 at that time. So I'm not sure if this is really a range even worth playing, to be honest. This is so tight. Yeah, so if we're gonna say, well, let's get rid of this I right here and put it here, because this is definitely more balanced. So if this is the balanced price, and we want to scalp around it, you would want to be buying it here and selling it here. But if we get filled at 12, the probability that they also start printing 11.5 is pretty high. So I don't think that a long makes much sense. If we did a short, at the moment at least, it seems unlikely that we would get filled at 13, but it's possible. But then what is our probability that we're actually able to get 12? And we'd still kind of want to be predicting which way it's going to come out of this because of the risk reward, because it's only taking 2 there. So I think that because this trade didn't work out where we saw the absorption and it looked like somebody was initiating a move, I think it's probably better that I just stay out of this one. And in fact, I'm really thinking that whichever way it ends up going, that I probably want to fade it. So it goes back to the question of, are we rate locked? Well, you would probably be seeing more absorption, so I'm not so sure that we're rate locked. There's definitely some accumulation distribution going on here in this range. It doesn't necessarily have to be a price which is already traded. If you mentally extend the profile lower, we could build volume around 110 and then trade back into the 12F range. That's true. But I'm just saying, you know, prices that have traded recently. So these 3 basically. And I can't predict which one is more likely, 13.5 or 11.5. I don't like the 11.5 because it's on the edge, though. I'll tell you that. Like, that one just seems to have a big target on it. Like, somebody wants it to trade there. Okay. ZN is seeing buying through this. It's interesting. You think the 11.5 bid is fake, huh? I'd be a little cautious about trying to predict if a bidder offer on the higher low of the session is fake, because there's almost always going to be a lot traded there, and there's almost always going to be somebody that's going to want to make something happen, right? So that's a little bit too much of a prediction for me. I'd also say it's touched it several times, right? It's touched it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I guess that does mean that there's a good probability that it goes through it. Now, here's something else I'm saying that is maybe a little bit better indication if we're going to go lower, is that there is not a strong bid at 070 or 072 in the 5-year. So even if the 10-year decides that they're going to fight it, or rather, if the 10-year decides, oh, we're still going to absorb 8,000 contracts, the 5-year could still pull them through it. I don't think I've ever seen such a clear liquidity vacuum, especially right at the lows. This is awfully fishy. It's gonna put me to sleep here. There's not a lot of volume trading, is there? Really bad day for me today. I've been on the wrong side for the last 7 hours. But it's now break even and flat, but only in zero because I had a good euro trade. And there was a block buy there. They just ate that right up, which is really weird. 12.5. So Tyler bought. Well, I'm going to continue to sit on my hands, but this really looks like a buyer trying to initiate a move. Okay. So that's kind of what I thought. This was where we took the long before, and of course there's a little bit of fighting and absorption at it. I think that if you wanted to go long, there's probably a pretty good chance that you could get filled at 12.5. Let's see if they attack it. This bid offer seems awfully lopsided, like it's almost 5K there, and they're absorbing at 13. So this is kind of a spurious offer. See that? And I wonder if they hit this hard enough if they pull at 12.5. Although it could just be somebody playing the, the 2-tick range, so they could just be getting out at 12 halves, so I don't want to mess with it still. What price did KK get long at? Yep, what happened there? Fix that. And ZF is actually 2 ticks higher, and so is ZB, and ZN was not able to push up. Cumulative delta in ZB is mostly negative. No, you got long 24. Well, you're one taking the money. Prices typically trade up into the Treasury auctions, was the big thing from John. Good point. And they are trying to buy it. I mean, you can't deny that. They are trying to buy it. Alex Harwood from Axia Futures is going to be in on Bloomberg tomorrow. Okay, we finally ticked up. Weak bid. Offer nothing too spectacular either, though. I still feel like somebody's trying to buy it. I'm really concerned that we're going to tick up through 13.5. I'm going to FOMO in and then it's going to reverse on me. ZB is trying to push us higher. ZF not as enthusiastic about it. The spreads are flattening a little bit. Okay, so 600 hit it and it didn't even phase to level 2. That's interesting. So there is an iceberg at 13.5. So I don't think you would want to hit 13.5 at the moment. You would want to buy here. That also kind of makes it less likely for us to break through that price. Okay, so that bid still looks a little weak. Ah. I liked what just happened there. See that in the 5-year? Okay. Now this offer is weak. Or it was. I guess 720 have traded into it. I don't know if this is gonna fill. Still got this thing going on in the 5-year that it's like Yep. Target 160. Probably 155, but yeah, about that. There was a pivot at 155, so keep an eye on that. Of course, they could dig through us and stick a huge offer on it, and we'd be in the exact same situation we were in on last trade and be like, oh, I don't want it anymore. So, I do think it's important to note that even though we're not getting filled here, buyers are not crossing over in significant numbers yet. So I don't know if it's that they just think that they're going to get filled or what. And this thing right here in ZF is starting to look really solid. Yep. This bit is a lot stronger now, and I'm noticing that the level 2 is starting to do funky things. The speed where it doesn't tick up or down and just trades between the inside bid and offer for almost 5 minutes. Yeah, GBL trying to get pushed down a little bit. Well, ZB ticked down. Oh, there we go. Finally got my back to pop. Oh, and they finally got a couple more sellers in there. know that you can trade the 10-year with 248 margin and 248 round turn at Good Howard. Never heard of them before, but I will look into it. It does seem like a better deal. You're gonna have to give me a website. I can't find it just searching it. Okay. So they did do what I said. They dicked through us and they put a pretty good offer on it. Till the FBI is trying to spy on me. That's my microphone making weird noises. From my cell phone. Okay, well, they ticked back up. And they're absorbing more at 13. Deepdiscounttrading.com, okay. Ew, their website is really ugly. Oh, the DCQG, Rhythmic. Okay, there is a lot going through here. Ooh, my. It's hard for me to say for sure, but I think this is good for our position right here, that we're trading a lot at 13. They're fighting and they continue to keep it above there. I would really like to see that 12.5 be over 3, but oh man, where was the I think that I think ZF needs to stay above 0.8 quarter, so that's not necessarily good. I wonder if deep discount trading would allow me to use Jigsaw. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, but they fought and held. ZF still at the same place. It's funny how that one tick changes everything, right? They were sitting there for so long, and now that they were able to fill adhere, and now all of a sudden the sellers want it again. Some level 2 games here. 2000. CF in particular. See if they flip. Yeah, you would think that they would allow it with rhythmic, but you never know. Okay, this offer is pulled a little bit. The offer in 5 year, sorry, the bid in 5 years still not strong enough. Yeah, the 115 is still going to be there. I mean, look, at the low of the session, there's always going to be a lot of orders, always. So it's not really out of the ordinary or unusual or tell us really a whole lot of anything, to be honest, in my experience. Not that I've ever done a study or anything and looked at it, but I just know that there's always a big order at the high and the low. Almost always. This right here, in the 5 year, that is unusual though, to not see anything at the low. Well, to have 1,000 go into it and 23 bid is not bad. Okay, the tick down is bad. Yep. Now a weak bid there. And them hitting it in ZF. Yeah, impossible I don't think is even the best description, like just super dead. I mean, they may go and try and hit those lows, but with as fast as it's ticking, you really think that they're going to be able to do a whole lot with it, you know? Sometimes when it's slow, it takes people by surprise, yes. Well, when it gets slow, in my mind, I think somebody's taking a position and they're waiting for them to just push it to where they know that they have the advantage, and then they're gonna step on the gas pedal. Okay, well, we traded down and one traded into 11.5, and it is 6,000 essentially. At one point it was 8. It's not unusual to see 2,000 pull whenever we tick, so I'm still gonna say that the bid at 11.5 doesn't really tell us anything. It wasn't 3,000. Now 500 just pulled right there. Yeah. There was a 2,000 pulled off on the downtick, which always happens, but then now that we've traded, 500 have gone through. Okay, and now we've had 1,000 trade. Now the offer is higher. I think that offer is a little suspicious. What I'm seeing in ZF though is ZF is making a new low. Oh no, it's not making a new low. That was the previous low, and it's iceberging there and having a hard time getting through it. That's a little weird action, isn't it? Oh, 7.5 traded there. They might go lower, but 75 traded there. So is that enough? Is that where we say, yeah, the bid was real? Or not? So it's just like there's always going to be a big bid at 11.5, and there's always going to be a lot of volume at 11.5. That doesn't really tell us if it's going to go through or not. Also would tend, the tendency is going to be that you're going to see some sort of a level break setup where they're going to trade at 12.5, and you're going to see at least 3,000 contracts trade at 12, and they may tick up and they may not, and that still doesn't tell us if we're going to go through or not. It just means that some people are trying to play the expectation that it's going to break lower. Okay, so now that bid at 11.5 is 5,000. The thing is, though, that it went 8K to 3K when it started actually working. I don't know. This is thick.
Block by.
Okay, oops, misclick. Okay. Wowza. You know, I really shouldn't be trying to save the misclick, should I? I need to be more careful. I need to be more careful, but I would read that what just happened there as a hard rejection. That was crazy. That 5,000 bought there, and then we ticked up again, and then like good 20,000 traded off of that move. They were able to stop it, but then it's still just sitting there. So the one thing I'm seeing with deepdiscounttrading.com is that your minimum account balance, it has to be 3,000. Not minimum account balance, but like to open an account you need 3,000. So it's more, it's cheaper like margin wise, but it's more to get started than it is because you only need $500 to get started at AMP futures. So I can't necessarily use that as the one for like newbies, poor newbies. Cash poor newbies. Okay. To tick down there, that's really bad. Hmm. I'm not sure what I should be doing here. I just feel had. I think, you know, if I really wanted to take it long, I should have waited for it to come back here and taken it long at 12. Taking it where the block buy price was at, you know? Yeah. I think I need to just say to myself, when something happens, I shouldn't be trying to fast click into it or anything, unless I'm already sitting there, because I really shouldn't have clicked on that. It's super bad. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I know that the bid is stronger right now, but that bid was a lot. The first time it traded around, it was 8, and then they tried to trade through it. They couldn't. They had 500 bid, 5,000 bid. Then we went up when we came back down here. Then this next time there was 3,000 bid. So that's not necessarily a good sign for the lows, is it? But then we just had a good tick up, and the block buy was at 12. So it's kind of like, I mean, this is a really bad place to have your balance area, but it's basically like, if we stay above 12, we're going to go up, and if we stay below 12, if we stay right here, then we're going to go lower. A lot of pulling there at 12 and a half for this to be that strong. 2,000 have gone into it. This 25. I think that the buyers could push up through that really easily if they choose to. And the 077 is the weaker price over here as well, and they traded up through it, but it's fighting. Okay, it's held. Oh, it's still fighting, and the ZF not quite going, the ZB not quite going. Still weak, but it's like anytime that I see an imbalance here in the level 2, and I think, okay, if they trade up through here, then you have some pressure and some people have to get out. And then there's like some absorption, or they just don't go and it takes forever, and then it changes the whole situation and you never get the pressure. Because I wanted to see 23, 28 go through there and then them just bid it. And then we would be in a good position. And then that's not what happened. I think it's probably, I don't know. I like the buy, the buy still. I think it was at the wrong place. But if we had bought at 12 half like we wanted to, that would be okay, right? But at the moment, the probability doesn't look super clear, does it? Maybe they trade up through here now. ZF is. I hate this one where ZF has less than 500 bidder offered, but they aren't going through it yet, and there's potentially an iceberg there. Sometimes they go through and sometimes they don't. And it's not like I look at that as a signal, but when it's low, then you start to see a lot of volume trading everywhere, and it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Now that tick meant something. Notice how I'm still at the back of the queue. Okay. Well, that would be my stopping, just to point out, and that should have only been -1. But that would still put us at -4 on the day. I'll just show you what actually happened. I shouldn't have clicked there, but okay, so let's not do that again, like ever again. I don't know what's with me, because like the double clicking and ending up with 2 contracts, somehow I didn't do that for the longest time, and now all of a sudden I'm doing it again. We're still above his price. Okay, see that 3 come down? Surprised that nobody just traded right down in there. Well, I would like to try selling it for sure, but I'm super concerned that if the seller gets what he wants, that he's immediately going to take it off and unwind, you know? It's like one of those, when he actually gets it, it might actually be a bad thing. I don't know. I don't think that 12 is a great place to sell it. I could maybe take 11.5 as she goes, but even that's a little questionable. And who knows, this buyer may still pull it out. The frustrating thing is that this has given us some range, and if I wanted to take it long, I could have gotten long at 12 at one point. I could still get long at one point and just take +2 on it. I feel like, well, this is a little conflicting. They really should have pushed through that 11.5 by now, don't you think? But given that they've touched it now, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Pretty good chance you're going to go through it, right? Now you could see the level break trade here at this, but does that really have probability? No, it's like 50-50 at that time. Yeah. Well, the way it's been clearing prices is really slow. If you want to trade, a few minutes go by, then 5,000 come through out of nowhere. Yes, but the 5,000s have only been coming in on the buy side. See that? So here's where maybe I could justify buying 12 now. Maybe. Okay, so I would have gotten filled if I had bought 12 right there. Would have gotten filled on an iceberg, would have been good. You could potentially still get filled. I don't know if I want to, though. Because if they're able to trade through this, they could very easily just trap all these guys. Okay. Making the bid look weak again. Yeah. This being 1770 instead of like 12. And it says to me that actually a lot of people are saying that they want to buy it now. And you are getting some people clicking over. This delta went lower, but they didn't make a new low. So there's a delta divergence now. There's the ZF, like it's going to tick up. Begin to do it. Sure. Not holding, not going. I think this should tick up. I do kind of like the idea of using a stop order to get in, but 10,000 at 12? One tick above the high? I think I'm starting to get into a point where I don't trust myself anymore. But man, that I want to buy it so badly because of that. Like they've been down at that 11.5 many times and they still couldn't do it, and now they're absorbing 12,000 contracts on it. That looks to me like a long. You just need to see a strong bid at 07 pack and it's gonna go. Should. I don't seem to trust myself now. Now it's 13. See, they traded into it. They didn't trade up. Now maybe? No? Okay, it traded up and they stopped it again. What the hell? Okay. So they ticked up again in ZF. The 5-year. What makes more sense? Do you prefer I say ZF, or do you prefer that I call it the 5-year and the 10-year? I wonder which one registers to people what I'm talking about faster. So now that bid should either be stronger or this should have ticked up. Oh, still the iceberg. I don't know, man. That's just too crazy. Okay, so finally the uptick. And these guys at 13.5 pulled. Lots of games. And 125 went offer again. Like that in my mind is just like crazy. Like, okay, we absorbed 1500, we traded up through 12.5, they put a good bid on it, and they still sold. They still sold that. So it's like there is definitely a buyer here, and there is definitely a strong edge that normally would hold. I liked that uptake a lot more, by the way. But this seller is just not giving up either. So something that would normally just be done and up is now not doing anything. Well, okay, the 5-year is back up to where I wanted it, where it was before when we were seeing stuff in the 5-year. I like that. The knob spread appears to be headed in the right direction too. The knob is at a spot where it could potentially break out. Bid and offer keeps flipping around. Yeah, so this is another thing in a range. Just as theory, and I know this isn't like a strong and hard rule, but when we're in a range, the bid and offer is less likely to tell you something because you're more likely to see icebergs, right? And the thing is we've seen some icebergs both ways, although this iceberg at 12 is pretty crazy, right? This going weekend, And the 5 year is a little odd. The ease with which the bid offer flips tells me how easily it can be manipulated. Well, and it might not even necessarily be that it's being manipulated. It could just be that it's just robots trading it, you know? Obviously, it wasn't a robot that bought at 12, but you know what I'm seeing going on right now at this moment at 12 half? It kind of looks to me like nobody's really doing anything. Okay, so that was a good pull in the 10 year. Would like to see it trade up faster than that, please. Oh yeah, I mean, it'll flip back and forth really quickly. See, now the offer is stronger. That to me is indication that robots are doing it. Like, they'll hold it one way, they're not getting stuff, so then they'll take it the other way and see if they get stuff, and they'll flip it back and forth until they get their fills and stuff. Like, I think there's one robot is saying, I'm going to manipulate the bid offer and make this one look strong and this one look weak, and then buy here and try and catch this. And there's another one that's saying, the offer is weak, I'm going to buy it here. More flipping than McDonald's. So that's just one where, like, if it's below 1,000, almost always a couple of orders are going to go through. And that time they did not. So because they didn't get it, they might flip it now. Let's see. A couple of orders went through. And this is where, like, it's just robots. Like, the offer is weak, a couple of robots buy it. Now they're not getting what they wanted. They're just going to sell back into 12 half. And then does it all over again. Now they're going to flip it. Yep. And now they're going to see how many go through at 12 half. Probably going to have a harder time getting that 12 half to look really weak to get people to try and sell it. Okay. Didn't get anything. Now they're flipping it the other way. Oh, actually, ZF actually bought up. They can hold that bid there. 259 softly weak, yeah. And then the other thing is that when they're only willing to bid 500, bid and offer 500 around a price, and it goes through several times there, that's just robots. Doesn't really mean a thing, because these robots are only looking to get a tick. Okay, well, it was a much better pull that time. Pulled, but they haven't ticked through it. And I'm just rambling. Okay, well, 3,000 did go through at 13. So that's some people looking to get short at 13, I'd say. 13 would be the place to get short for sure. So they're gonna have to tick up through this and put like 2,000 here on the 13 and see people start puking into 13 half if this is actually gonna go up. Seeing a lot of blue over here though. the cumulative delta was like mostly selling, and now we're a couple of ticks up, and now we're actually starting to get blue delta. If it continues through, we could get a good move up. Now, you know what would be really funny but really frustrating is if 13,000 offer at 13 came out. Okay, they ticked up. It was 15 initially, down to 1,016 now, and a couple did puke into 13.5. But ZF is still not to the point where they're going to take it up, so it could tick back down. Not strong enough to see. 127, you gotta do better than that. 250, you gotta do better than that. 5-6, that's better. And I'm seeing a little bit of pulling at the 8.5 now. Yeah. Ooh. That was interesting. That last tick up was good, but CF is still not ready to go. Well, that's a little better. So ZB is not ticking up. Okay. It's just robots trading it again in ZF. Okay, so some sold here in the 30, and that really affected the bid in the 10-year. But they haven't ticked through it at 23. I wonder if they come in hit back at 24. No. Ah, okay, so they did. They hit it, but they didn't hold it, and now it's 270 offer again. Okay. That 23 is a good, strong offer now. That's not good. Context doesn't feel right to start a trend. Yeah, I agree. Well, that's why I'm not moving my order at 14.5. But 14.5, we're still technically within the range, you know? The euros are still downtrend, huh? There's a strong hit into 13.5, and it still hasn't. And ZB is still fighting here at 24 as well. A bad downtick in the 5-year. Been looking a little weak in the 10. Quite a bit of volume trading back and forth here now. Well, that was a hit. That was a good hit right there at 13. This is definitely the sellers taking their turn. Okay. Lots being absorbed at 13. I think that's really good. I mean, we saw absorption at 12. We saw some absorption at 12.5. For them to absorb 5,000 at 13 is really good. We need to tick back up, of course, but nope. Look at that. That's bad. Well, maybe that's fake, but man, that 12.5 should not be able to get that low. And no, should not offer. The bid at 12.5 should not go down to 16. You can definitely see here in the cumulative delta where they kind of started to sell it. And look at the delta here. It seemed like there was a lot of buying up through here, but it doesn't really show in the delta. The delta really didn't move up that much. Okay. That was an okay tick up. That tick up probably should. I mean, I don't see it quite yet because ZV hasn't ticked, but I think that affects the knob spread quite a bit. Yeah, there it is. So now the knob is still looking like it's going higher. Okay. Iceberg here in the 5-year. I think we just really need to stay patient here, and if it goes, it goes, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But as long as we get the right spot, we can afford to just watch and see, you know? Mm, level 2 roughly equal now in 10-year. Bid building up in the 30. Still just robots. Man. They flipped the level 2 in the 30. Hmm. Relatively okay downtick. That look at that big strong offer at 24. That's new. Yeah, and the 10-year ticks up. The 30-year does not. They hold. Wow. The 30 just does not want to buy. Okay. Yes, there we go. You see that? There was 900 there, 24, and they all pulled. It all pulled before anything really even went through. Let's see what this 14 does. If they tick up, if they can do it. Okay, well, 500 did end up trading at 24. The ZB's just not giving up on it. Well, there are a couple of orders were selling it there. It looks like somebody was maybe taking a trade on FYT. You can definitely see spreading, right? Well, that was pathetic. What? You see that? It went down to 100 and then it went back up to 17. Yeah. Okay, well, it took me out for +1. That's cool, I guess. What was the maximum I ever got on that? 2. It was 2 and I was in the money for a good 30 minutes, only one tick away from me. I guess that's okay. That's okay, right? It's gonna go now that I've taken it off. Took it off because the bid was super weak. Yeah. I think we've learned our lesson with buying it at 13 though, haven't we? If we were gonna buy it, we would want to buy it here. Is delta in the 10 years really weird? Well, the bid at 12.5 is a lot weaker. And the 10-year is looking like it wants to go and break lows. KK changed the short. Well, the FOMC is on Wednesday is the big one, right? And then there's auctions. Look, the iceberg at 12.5 again. We try it? Well, the thing is about with the news being later in the week is that we do tend to see large players try and take positions and make moves happen ahead of the FOMC, especially if there is some expectation that we're going to get something that changes things out of the FOMC. And that does appear to be the case this time because I'm seeing a lot of news stories and talk about that the Fed could change something. So some people are saying that they might not roll off as quickly as before with their asset buying program, that they're not going to roll that off as quickly as possible. Other people are saying that things are going really well and that they're going to have to increase the rate. So I'm not surprised to see people trying to make a move happen. But it looks like that the people taking the positions are being extremely passive about it today. Extremely passive. So like following the herd, going in with the rush, you notice that anytime we've seen a volume spike, like a volume buying spike or a volume selling spike, that was not the way to go. Right? Like we had a volume spikes selling at, I think it was 12.5. When we saw that, no, it was at 12 where we saw that huge iceberg. And those guys did not make money. Was under the CPI? I missed the CPI one. Wait, let's see here. Oh yeah, there's PPI and CPI. And then there's the FOMC. So yeah. I don't know. I feel like yeah. How do I say this? No, they ticked up, but they didn't bid a whole lot. Still not bidding a whole lot and offering a lot more than that. Look at it from, so let me bring this over, and so then you'll see the number of times that you could have gotten filled at 12 and filled at 13. Or frankly doing what I'm doing and buying at 12.5 and selling at 13. Or buying at 12. Many times. You could have done it probably 10 times by now. But all this stuff that we're saying about, well, there's the news and there's passive liquidity on both sides. We knew that there was a news, but the whole passive liquidity thing was not something that we came in with. If we had come in with that, then we could have said, okay, well, I think that it's going to stay in this range for most of the session, and so I'm just going to try and take 1 or 2 ticks in here. The one wild card in here continues to be ZB, right? ZB really wants to sell for some reason. How do you define your risk? Well, you look at the edge of the profile, I guess. You want to take it in between here. So really your risk is like 2. So if it starts trading aggressively at 11.5, you get out. Now if it does break the range, I think we might get a surprise. Like it might. Well, I think the tendency on a range day like this would be that it would break 11.5 and then it would flip around, right? Like they'll trade 11 and then they'll tick up. But, you know, if we were able to break out of 13.5, 14.5, you could very quickly see the 16 still. So these can quickly turn into surprises, can't they? I think that this one is starting to get a little dangerous though. Yeah, look at the ZB was so close to ticking a new low there. What the heck? What the heck is going on? This is so weird. Okay, there, finally did it. So now we gotta puke. Look at that. They ticked a new low and there was 488 sitting there and they ticked back up with 4,000 almost on the bid. Okay, well, I don't like days like this either, right? These are the kind of days that I don't do too well on. And I think when we look at it, when we were saying this one should have been 1, so we were -4, and then +1, we're still -3. If we had played it on the edge, I think we could have done a lot better. Still like this, the way this is going. I don't know. I think my larger point is that this seems like there's a day where there's not really a lot of opportunity. But whenever I see that sort of a thing, I think you have to take a step back and say, well, yes, but for a certain type of strategy, there is opportunity for that certain type of strategy. Maybe you don't want to trade that certain type of strategy, but it is there, right? And I think that strategy is that you have a very well-defined profile here, and you can very easily get filled at 12 and at 13. And so you can take 2 ticks between there many, many times. And if you lose money on news trades, then you're down. Well, yeah. But, you know, for somebody that really likes to just take 1 or 2 ticks, I think that this is like a great action for them. Now, of course, the problem is that I don't completely understand how that person would do that, because how are they going to deal with, is this going to go up or down? So it seems awfully unclear still whether which one it's going to do, doesn't it? And especially this ZB really wants to go down. ZN, I think, kind of wants to go up. Knob spread did flatten a little bit back to where it was. You can see there's that ZB just kind of sitting on the edge. Wants to go lower, but they're not doing it. It ticked up. See that? So here's where I think we should have been playing the edge of the range. And let's say we took this like 5 times, and then eventually this range is going to break, and then you're going to take a -2. But then you had already taken that 4 times, times 2, and you would have taken the, you would have walked away with 8 ticks. Well, that's a lot of absorption there at 12.5. The new bird is crying. That bid looks a little too strong. Do you see a pull in there? Did ZB still hasn't? No, I think it has a tick. That was a new low, right? That 19 was a new low. Looking at them trying to squeeze them out. $52 on the inside bid. It's an awful lot. Okay. Nope. A slight tick up in ZB, and then it didn't hold. think I should move my stop up to there. No, that's not what I wanted. It won't let me move it. Pete, please fix. There we go. Okay. Well, that stop order didn't work. Isn't that funny? What did it do? Let me just confirm that it did it right. Okay, it did it right. Okay. Well, now they might tick low. Yeah. Okay. 5,000 absorbing on the low. What was our number again in the cryptocurrencies? Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hmm. I don't know. It ticked up. Jeez, guys. If you'd bought 11 half, you could have bought 11 half. Look at this. You could have bought 11 half. You could be offering at 12 half. I'd probably be offering at 13. I don't know. It definitely would work, and it's definitely worked multiple times. But I don't think I have the nerve to try and bid at 11 half. Do you? It's just crazy the way this has been working out. Now, it's some typing. The 22 offer is weak. Sure. Well, I don't think I would actually do it, but I mean, I saw the trade. Yeah. Well, sure, but look, I'm just gonna type. Okay. See, it can work. It's just the question is, how committed are you to the fact that it's going to stay in the range? Probably today is like the one day I can think of where, of course, okay, we could have known going into today that it was going to stay in this range. And I've seen this before and I've never really noticed or thought about it, but maybe next time we start to see this, we can start to think about it a little bit faster. But you could come in and you could see that it was going to do that, and you could try playing it like that. But like you said, it's a really nerve-wracking trade because, man, sitting there with an iceberg at 11 half with, and they're going for the gunning for the lows is awfully, yeah. I'm not. I mean, I try it in sim, and if I can get good at it, and I can accurately predict when it's going to happen, then sure to take the trade. But it's not a trade that I've taken very many times or that I have a lot of comfort in right now, is it? Because I was trying to just do like, I was just trying to take it from the balance area. Like I was thinking, oh well, they came here, they failed. Now you could take it long 12 and you could take it off at 13. That seems like a little bit safer because you're not playing right on the edge and you have a little bit of momentum going with you because it flipped, right? That was kind of more what I was trying to do. And I don't, I was too late on him because really the middle was 12 half and I kept buying 13 and then puking at 12, and that's no good. the funny thing is that if you really do play that range, like dedicated, and like you totally screwed it up. But if you were only buying 12 and only selling 13, and you ended up losing money over it, you wouldn't have lost that much. You probably would have only lost 2 to 4 ticks. So it just makes me think that it's worth playing. Now, the caveat to this is like Friday. Where was it? Friday. This whole thing right here. So on Friday we had another one like that, and I completely didn't see it coming at all, although sometimes after a big move, sometimes that is what you see. That one would have been much harder, because obviously you could have bought and sold here, but man, it sure whipped you around, and there was a false breakout here and stuff like that, so it can still mess with you. But it seems like when it gets like that, they're consistent enough that it is worth playing. If you can just get good at that strategy. I think if you were really concerned about it, you could do it in sim, and yeah, I think you could get some valuable experience from playing this range and seeing where the edges are. The level 2 also definitely gave us indications about what it was going to do, because whenever you ever notice, sometimes we have these situations like Tucker has been pointing out, where we tick up and all of a sudden the bid is really super strong, but then they don't attack the offer, and then when they hit the bid just kind of pulls. So this one where I've been saying it's like the buyers are trying to pressure out the shorts, and the shorts don't jump out, so he gives up. Well, sometimes what you'll see instead is we'll tick up and the offer just doesn't move. So there's all of these people leaning on the edge, and they're not getting out. And you're definitely seeing that here, and that's why I'm saying you can see that you can take it between 12 and 13 pretty much the whole session. And I don't know how many times, if you had actually held to it, and if you were buying, let's just say you were buying, I don't know how many times you could have bought it and gotten away with it, but I know that you could have done it a number of times, because those two prices have filled. They've ticked through those so many times. I have to say at least 1, 2, 3, probably at least 5 times. That level 2 manipulation flipping type action is an indication that playing the edges of the range may have a higher chance of success than at other times. There's some good. I know it's a tough day, but I think that there's a lot of stuff to be pulled out of today, even if we didn't take any trades, isn't there? Because at the very least, there's so much stereotypical action in here and signs that it was going to happen. This is like the perfect example day to show somebody what a really slow range day is like and how you could potentially play it. I don't know why I traded the way I did. This one, I think I'm, there's something going on up here because this one right in particular really bothers me. That if I had bought it at 12.5 and just taken it off at 13, I mean, that one could have been profitable, but I clicked twice, and why would I do that? And then these ones were just at the wrong price, not why am I thinking that it's going to break out? I should just be assuming in that situation that it's going to be stuck in there. Yeah, no, that one I totally, well, this one I didn't chase, okay? This one, I saw the block buy, and I thought, okay, we're at the bottom of a range. Here's a place to do it. And I saw where the block buy was, and so I was picking the spot that I wanted based on the block buy, but I just clicked in the wrong spot. Maybe it was chasing because it was after it happened, but it's like, if you get the price and it has a signal, you get the price, right? I think that these first two, though, were maybe chasing just because I really shouldn't be looking to buy this any higher than 12.5. Which is the middle of the range, right? But I have to say, you might not necessarily want to buy it at 12. I mean, I know that that's like the optimal entry is when it's going down and you catch it to fill as they're going down and then it ends up flipping, but you might not always be able to see that one. But wait, what you can see is, okay, they stopped here, the auction is up again, I know I can get filled at 12.5. They're probably going to trade through 13, and I can take that one tick. That's what I was trying to do. Well, maybe that's not what I was trying to do. That's what I should have been trying to do. So I don't know. This is the most range-bound day I've ever seen. I mean, on the regular session, we literally have a 4-tick range on the regular session. How crazy is that? I don't know. And sometimes you can't chase, like, I mean, let's say you chase, doesn't go, you lose a tick or two on it, but if you catch it, then you make 8 ticks, and that means that you can do that 4 times before it's not worth it. So, I don't know. It's definitely a bad thing, though. I shouldn't have done these first 3. Did not really make sense, did they? The other thing with these ones is that they was, it was like, I took it and it's against me. And I was in it for like 10 minutes. It doesn't make much sense either. This one I thought was okay because I was in this one for 30 minutes, but I was profitable almost the whole time. I could have taken the 2 ticks, but I didn't. Yeah, so this is another thing that I find interesting. It seems to me like most of everybody is preferring the short side. Why? I don't think we really know. I'm going to bet. Well, I'm going to type it. Where should we say it would be from? 2 ticks outside of that? What would be fair? 150 before 110? Or how about 4 ticks outside of this? Nah, it'd have to be 6 ticks, so 15.5. By the end of the session. Oh geez, like I wasn't even paying attention, but while I was saying all of that, they actually did take the run. And you can see it happening in the 5-year. Anyways, I've yapped on long enough. Obviously, I'm talking a lot of stuff when I'm didn't necessarily have a good day and didn't play it the way that I'm talking about, is it? We gotta do something about this. There seems to be a disconnect between what I know is possible or should be doing and what I'm actually doing. All right, I will